Welcome back, and today I want to share some of my experiences of this great race. Keep watching because these are my top tips for the Berlin Marathon. So first off, before you travel to Berlin, make sure you've received, downloaded or printed the start pass, which looks a bit like this. And also, it's critical to have some form of photographic ID. You'll need this at the expo to collect your number. And no, you can't collect anyone else's number and no one can collect yours. They're very, very strict about that. If you want to see what I pack for Berlin and all these major marathons, that'll be in the next video. So as I mentioned, you'll need the start card and ID when you get to the expo. And in Berlin, the expo number collection runs from Thursday morning until Saturday night, traditionally in the former Tempelhof airport south of the city. But this year it has been moved to Messe in Berlin, a little less spectacular than the former airport, but still reasonably sized and quite easy to get to out in West Berlin. I actually visited this expo location for Berlin Half Marathon earlier in the year. With 55,000 full marathon runners, bib pickup will be busy. Added to that then 10,000 5k runners and thousands more roller skate marathon participants on the Saturday means that the Friday will be by far the busiest day as people descend upon the expo for all three events. So I would say if you can get there on Thursday to ensure you can pick up all the merchandise you might want before it sells out, like I clearly always do, or on Saturday after the other event number collections have finished. Unless, of course, you're doing both the 5k and the marathon, in which case a Friday visit may well be a necessity. The ever-efficient organisers have recognised how busy the expo will get, and so they've set up an optional slot booking process for number collection this year. Either way, there's always tons of stalls, some free samples, competitions, opportunities to purchase some last-minute energy gels, chews, alcohol-free beer, and an absolute endless selection of official Adidas race merchandise. You can genuinely spend upwards of an hour milling about the expo. But most importantly, don't forget to get your number. And if you've booked it, your drop bag as well. When you do get your number, you'll be given a wristband, which will be attached to your wrist, sort of heat sealed to your wrist that you don't take off until after the race. This will get you access to the start area on the day. And then the Saturday, and there's plenty to do to distract from the race nerves. Go watch the 5k at 10 a.m, the roller skate marathon at midday, which is quite a spectacle to see the numbers of roller skaters and how fast they go around the course. Just don't do too much walking or sightseeing the day before. Save that for the Monday when you can hobble around the tourist hotspots wearing your medal. Then on race morning, get up, follow your normal pre-race routine, nothing new on race day, even the shiny new kit you bought at the expo, leave that for tomorrow. And head towards the beautiful Tiergarten, the start line of the Berlin Marathon. You do get free travel on the public transport network in Berlin with your number for 3 days before and on the marathon day itself. So getting to the start line should be straightforward enough no matter where you're staying. For me, I use this BVG Fire Info app to plan my journey from wherever I'm staying that year. You'll have been assigned a start pen and a start time via email, and also when you pick up your number. Your start pen will just be here on your number. My advice is to arrive at the starting village around an hour before your start. You can get in earlier and obviously later, but you want to spend a bit of time, relax, and if you can, watch the elite start at 9:15 if your start's a little bit later. Then get your bag dropped off, get in the queue for Portaloos, and my top tip for this is bring your own loo roll because just in case. But as you walk from the start area to the starting corals, you will still have an opportunity to visit various Portaloos dotted throughout the Tiergarten itself because the organisers understand that race nerves are a thing. Jump into the corral that corresponds to your number then, and the organisers are quite strict about letting people go forward, but they will let you drop back a corral if you're late or if you want to run with somebody else. Normally, first-time marathon runners always start in the last corral, no matter what time they're running. But the good news is, whichever corral you start in, you get a full warm-up routine and build up to the start, fireworks and all, as you see here. And you start on the massive wide Strasse the 17th of June, plenty of space to get going down towards the victory column, where you can go around this roundabout either side on your way to the first mile marker. Although just on that, the markers on the course are actually predominantly kilometres, so be aware of that if you track miles on your watch. Another thing you probably notice if you're in the city a few days before is the 3 blue lines painted on the road. This is the shortest route, the exact 26.2 mile marathon distance. So if you stay as close as possible to that on the wide roads, that'll save you deviating too much and adding too much distance on, within reason of course. For me then, once I get going and running, the nerves just lift, the nerves just go away, and you've trained for this race. All you have to do is run, just another Sunday run, execute the race plan. Maybe start a little slower than goal pace, and don't get stressed if you're in a crowd for the first mile or two. It does start to thin out a little on the big wide Berlin roads. Pinch points only really occur at the water stations, and mainly at the start of them. They do go on further than what people think. And so my advice is go a couple of tables down and it'll be much less busy. Water is available from 3 miles on, every 3 miles until around mile 18, at which point they come every 2 miles. There's Morton drink mix available as well if you've tried that. There's apples, there's bananas, and there's Morton gels at mile 17. Make sure you've tried those in training if you want to take it then, because you don't really want a stomach upset coming near the end of the marathon. Personally, I've tried them and they agree with my stomach, but definitely give them a go beforehand if you plan to use them on the day. The course itself is really flat, with only one bit of gradient from around 16.5 to 17.5 miles, but even then, it's very gradual, and Berlin is the traditional home of world records for a reason. The fast, flat course being the main one, as well as the normally perfect weather conditions. Lastly, then on the course, just take it all in. There's a lot to see in Berlin, and the crowds are absolutely fantastic. When you turn that final corner at around 41 kilometers onto Unter den Linden, you can see the iconic Brandenburg Gate in the distance, and you know you're almost done. But keep in mind, the finish line is 400 meters beyond the Brandenburg Gate. That's not the finish line. It's a mistake I made the very first time I done Berlin in 2013. And now is the time to get carried away. You come down that final stretch before the Brandenburg Gate. The crowds are 4 or 5 people deep. There's a wall of noise coming from it, and multiple official photographers who give it everything you have. Get down through the gate, final stretch, the blue carpet, go get that medal. Over the line, the medal's there, the water's there. Get your poncho if you've booked one, or a foil blanket to keep warm. Head off into the finish area where you'll get more water, snacks, free massages, a shower, and best of all, alcohol-free Erdinger beer. A real highlight for me every single year. It gets in my video every year, and there are going to be a couple more this year for sure. If you have a drop bag, it'll be the same place you dropped it off. The start and finish area are the same area. So pick that up and go to the family meeting area. Arrange to meet people at a certain letter, the area's letter from A to Z. So arrange that beforehand to meet your supporters and soak it up. Chat to others, reflect upon your achievement of running the Berlin Marathon. Regardless of time, PB or not, you've just run a world major, and in my opinion, the best there is. So that's my top tips for Berlin Marathon. Thank you for watching. Comment below if you've done Berlin Marathon before and have any more tips that can help me or others. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you don't already to see what I pack for Berlin, how Berlin goes this year, and what comes next. Danke schön. See you in the next one.